He was waiting for love. God sent him a woman who needed it more. Some people wait for love like waiting for a ship that never reaches the shore, until one day fate sends them someone who isn't there to love them, but to be saved by the love they carry. That was exactly what happened to Andrew Cole, a man who had convinced himself that love was a distant dream meant for everyone except him. Andrew lived a quiet life on the outskirts of Brighton, in a small apartment that still echoed with the memory of a relationship that had ended 2 years earlier. He wasn't broken anymore, but he wasn't whole either, just suspended somewhere in between. His friends told him he needed to move on, but Andrew waited. He didn't know for what. Maybe love, maybe peace, maybe something that made waking up feel lighter. He worked as a graphic designer from home, often losing himself in colors and shapes that felt far simpler than human emotions. His days blended together until one evening, everything changed with a single knock. When he opened the door, a woman stood there trembling, drenched not by rain or storm, but by fear. Her backpack was half open, her hair messy, and her eyes swollen as though she had run out of tears only moments ago. "Are you Andrew Cole?" she whispered. "Yes," he answered cautiously. "Can I help you? My name is Elena Brooks. Her voice cracked. "I'm sorry. I found your address in a notebook that belonged to my brother Mason. He talked about you a lot. You helped him in college, before he passed away." Andrew froze. A familiar ache spread through his chest. Mason Brooks had been a junior designer he once mentored during internships, full of life, until depression stole that from him. "I'm so sorry," Andrew said softly. "Come inside. You're shaking." Elena hesitated but stepped in. She looked like someone holding herself together with threads. They sat in the living room, silence hanging between them like fragile glass. "I didn't know where else to go," Elena finally whispered. "I left everything today. My job, my house, my fiancé, everything." Andrew leaned forward gently. "Did something happen?" Her voice dropped to something small, almost childlike. "He wasn't who I thought he was. He broke me down every day. Not with fists, but with words, doubts, control. Mason always told me, if you ever feel trapped, find Andrew. He listens. I didn't believe him until today, when I truly had nowhere left." Andrew felt something inside him shift. He wasn't waiting for romance. He was waiting for purpose, for the chance to matter again. And suddenly, here she was, a woman carrying storms inside her, storms he somehow felt strong enough to face. "You're safe here," he said. "You don't have to explain everything tonight." Elena exhaled shakily, the kind of breath a person releases only when they feel safe for the first time in a long time. Over the next few days, Elena stayed in Andrew's guest room. She wasn't talkative at first, only sitting by the window with a quiet sadness hanging around her like fog. She apologized often, for existing, for intruding, for breathing too loudly. Andrew never corrected her with grand speeches. He corrected her with small kindnesses, a warm breakfast waiting on the kitchen counter, a blanket left on the couch, a soft, "Take your time. You don't owe me anything." Slowly, Elena opened up. She told him about the fiancé who manipulated her, the life that suffocated her, the dreams she'd buried under someone else's expectations. And Andrew listened, not like a man waiting for his turn to speak, but like someone who understood that listening itself was a form of love. "You must think I'm weak," she said once. "No," Andrew said firmly. "I think you're exhausted from being strong alone." That was the first time Elena smiled. As days turned to weeks, she regained pieces of herself. She cooked with him, laughed unexpectedly, and began sketching again, something she used to love before her life turned dark. Andrew watched her blossom the way flowers do after a long winter, and though he reminded himself that she wasn't his to love, his heart didn't always listen. One evening, Elena found a box tucked away in Andrew's closet, photos of his past relationship, love letters, old memories. You loved her a lot, Elena said softly. I did, he admitted. But some endings aren't failures. Sometimes they just make space for who we're supposed to become. Elena met his eyes, and for the first time she didn't look away. Andrew, thank you for being who you are. He smiled, but inside he fought the growing feeling. Love building quietly, patiently, like a home rebuilt brick by brick. But the real turning point came one afternoon when Elena received a call from her ex-fiancé. Andrew found her frozen in the hallway, phone in hand, tears silently streaming. He wants me back, she whispered. He said I owe him an explanation. Do you want to go back? Andrew asked. Elena shook her head instantly. No, not ever again. But I'm scared. I'm scared he'll come here. I'm scared of choosing myself. Andrew placed a hand over hers. Then let me stand with you while you choose. Together, they blocked the number. Together, they wrote down all the things Elena had been afraid to say out loud. And together, they walked outside for the first time in weeks. Elena breathing freely. Andrew watching her find strength she didn't know she had. As they sat on a bench overlooking the sea, Elena turned to him. You know, she said quietly, I came here thinking I needed someone to save me, but I think I just needed someone to believe I was worth saving. And you are, Andrew replied. Why did God send me to you? She whispered. He looked at her with a warmth that felt like sunrise. Maybe because I was waiting for love, and he knew someone else needed it more. Elena's eyes softened, a blend of gratitude and something deeper. She rested her head on his shoulder, not as a promise of romance, but as a moment of peace earned through pain. And that was enough. Weeks later, Elena decided to start fresh in a small apartment nearby. She hugged Andrew tightly before leaving. I won't forget what you did for me, she said. You didn't just give me shelter, you gave me the courage to come back to life, and you reminded me what it means to care, he said. Elena smiled. Maybe someday, when we both heal more, our paths might cross again in a different way. Maybe, Andrew replied. As he watched her walk away, not breaking but blooming, Andrew realized something profound. He had spent years waiting for love to fill the emptiness inside him. But real love wasn't something to be received. It was something to be given, freely, bravely, and in giving it, he found himself whole again. God didn't send him a woman who loved him. He sent him a woman who needed the love he had forgotten he could give. And in saving her, Andrew finally saved himself.